today's video, I'm going to unbox and install this 12 volt DC 2,500 pound electric trailer jack on my pop-up trailer. This is not a sponsored video. I bought this at Princess Auto in Canada in the summer of 2021. I paid $80 Canadian for it, plus tax. I don't know if that was a sale item or not. The thing with any Canadians that are familiar with Princess Auto, it's kind of like Costco. You see something there, you want it, you buy it because you might not see it there again. So anyways, as again, I say it's called a Towing Master unit, so you could probably search it and find it if you wanted to get it, but this is not a sponsored video. Okay, it's laid out in the back of the old workman here. Let's see what we got inside. So, as you can see, that was a bit of a production getting into the box, so we just fast forwarded through it. Here's the unit itself. We got the black and white positive and negative wires there. A little manual wrench to raise it that way. And the instructions. Plus, last thing that was in there were the bolts to mount the jack to the tongue of the trailer. Before I go through all the effort of installing the unit, I decided to hook up my battery charger here to give me the 12 volts required to run this unit. I will put a link at the bottom of this video to this battery charger and how to use it. Anyway, I have the white lead going to the positive output of the battery charger and the black lead going to the negative. According to our instructions, move this over a little bit here. This button up, can't see that in the camera, can you? This is the button on the top to operate the jack. This is an LED light here, which is a handy little feature. I already tried this. The LED light's not working, but we'll find out. Here's the button for the jack. I'm still going to install it, even though the light doesn't appear to be working at the moment. Oh, so I'm holding this button down. Let's move this over so you can see the end of it here. Other way. Oops, what happened there? So that's operating it, and obviously I'm going to push the button the other way and retract. I'm going to remove the existing trailer jack. I've already loosened up the bolts, which in this case they are 14mm bolts. On our new jack, we have to remove this foot pad so that it'll go down through our hole in the A-frame here. So we got a locking pin here. Just pull that out. Get your bolt there. Take the foot pad off. The instructions tell us, for grounding purposes, to sand off the paint off of one of the bolts on the jack. I have chosen this bolt here. I've sanded it there because the motor is going to go like this. The jack, the front of the jack is pointing towards the towing vehicle, and then you have to sand the corresponding bolt hole in the A-frame, which is right there. Now, before I install that, I'm actually going to give that a quick coat of black rust paint, because I painted this trailer in the summer and I wasn't particularly fussy. I got a bunch of white overspray there, as you can see. Normally I wouldn't bother, but seeing as I'm here, I'm going to give that a quick spray, put a little bit of tape over that so I don't repaint that. Ooh, we have a problem. I am going to have to expand our hole in the A-frame here by the looks of it. Interesting. Alright, I'll mark that off. So as you can see here, it's really close, but obviously has to be expanded a bit. Now I may center that. I got more over here than I have on this side, so I may center that again and remark it, and then I'll just cut that, expand that out. I'm going to use this rotary tool with this flexible extension on it and this grinder attachment to widen out this hole. Comment down below if you want to see a video on this tool. I've had this kicking around for years. Never did make a video on it. Anyway, make sure you have gloves and safety glasses, because there'll be little pieces of steel flying around here. The rotary tool with this grinding stone did not work. There's two reasons. Firstly, it would have taken forever because the tool is small and the grinding stone is small also. But most importantly even than that, is you see how I'm turning the stone? This small shaft that it's attached to, after you use it for not that long, they ended up releasing. Let's see if I can pull that out. Well, you can see it anyway. See how that's turning there? So, what did work, I went to Princess Auto in Canada and they bought a bigger set of stones, and this is the one that I used to finish grinding it out to proper size. This was flat out like this. You can see it wore that stone down a lot. But if you look at the size of the shafts on these compared to, what did I do with the other one? Here it is, there. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that in case you decide to try this. It did not work for me. If I had a better quality stone, maybe it might have worked, but it still would have taken a long time. My advice is if this jack doesn't fall right into your A-frame, you might want to consider returning it, because grinding this upper plate and then the lower plate down in there, that was time consuming. And one of the reasons being because the drill would heat up a lot, so I had to keep on doing it in sections. So anyways, keep that in mind. I'll put my bolts in there. There's no 12 volt power source in my little pop-up camper. I'm going to run this jack off of the connection from the car. You can see here's the hitch going to the car, and this is the connector that comes out of the back of the car, and I plug it into the connector on the trailer that runs the lights. So we got basically a ground, a left turn, right turn, and the tail lights. In other words, the lights of the trailer that are on all the time when I turn on the lights for the car. And that's the power source I'm going to use for running our 12 volt jack. The one that is for the tail lights. So in other words, I have the lights turned on in the car, and there'll be a constant 12 volts there. We'll show you in a minute. So here's the connector going out underneath the trunk, the one that we just looked at over there. What you do is you look at the wiring harness that was installed by the people that put this hitch on, and we'll see in this case that one of them, which one is that? That's marked left turn, this one here. So I don't want to use the left turn, otherwise I'm only going to get 12 volts when I turn my left signal light on. And I think this is the one here. It is marked tail lights. So the tail lights, this black wire right here, that is connected to the brown. So that's where I'm going to get my 12 volts, is off of the brown wire over at our trailer hitch. And we'll get our ground off of the white, which is the white wire going down. So to reiterate, we're going to get our 12 volts from the white here and the brown here on this connector. So to verify that our plan is going to work, I have our connector from the car. I got my leads going into the white and the brown wires that we discussed. I have my meter on the DC voltage here, and we see there's 0 volts. Now I'm going to go turn on the lights, the car, and see if we get our 12 volts from the battery. Incidentally, if you want to see a video on basic troubleshooting as far as electronics and how to use a meter for reading DC voltages and stuff working around vehicles, comment down below and I'll make one at some point. So I'm going to turn on the light, see if we get 12 volts there. 11 volts. Okay, well, that's close enough. So there's our battery voltage. We should be able to run our jack from the car on these leads if we cut into them when the lights are on the vehicle. Put our connectors together. And although you can see some paint here, it is still the brown and the white wire there. So we're going to cut into this one, and we're going to cut into this one. So we'll take these off. I also took a big huge gob of tape. These were all taped together. Anyways, and we'll cut into that. This is going to be wiring in a parallel circuit. In other words, it's not going to go, the current isn't going to go through the jack and then out and back and through the trailer. It's going to go through the jack and through the trailer. Anyways, let's open these up. Remember when we got that 11 volt reading instead of 12? Well, the reason was I actually killed the battery in the car because I left the lights on here too long at one point when I was testing this. Anyway, you see here we got our white wire from the car going to the ground wire on the trailer and the white wire of our jack. And we got our brown wire that we were talking about. That's our 12 volts. Going to the black wire of the trailer and to the green wire, which must be the which is the 12 volts of the trailer lights. Anyway, seal this up as best you can. I'm doing I got my heat shrink going on here. I'll leave you to fly on your own at this point. Just gonna, as far as sealing this up, I'm gonna take a bunch of black tape and tape this whole schlemazel together after we're done. Anyway, let's just try that jack there. The lights on the trailer are on. You see that? I have the lights turned on in the car. And we'll move this puppy back here. There is our jack working. To use the jack manually, we remove this grommet, and if you can see down in there, we have the bolt, this wrench, little wrench fits onto. And I'm going to stand back so you can get an idea of how much effort it takes to move the jack. Looking at it from above, if I turn this clockwise, that's that little, isn't it? So clockwise is lowering. Alright. Obviously, counterclockwise is going to raise it. I've installed the foot pad at the bottom of the jack. As you can see, I'm going to lower the jack, the one's on the trailer, and raise the trailer off of that jack over there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I won't fast forward this part of it just so you can get an idea of the speed of this jack.